Hitler's heirs, Austria's anti-Semitic, authoritarian far right is closing in on power. Austria is one expedient political decision away from a neo-fascist chancellor, Herbert Kickl, who leads a far-right party riddled with neo-Nazis. Structural anti-Semitism, hatred for minorities, and open hostility for the rule of law. Third time's the charm, yeah. There's Mr. Kickl. Now, I want to clarify something, guys. I'm not saying this guy is Hitler. But what I am saying is that the fact that this party is winning is a reflection of the zeitgeist that we are living in, wherein we have an increasing popularity for right-wing radicalism. That's what I'm saying. The far-right Freedom Party, known by its initials in German, FBO, has always posed a direct threat to Jewish life and democracy itself in Austria. Now, its chairman, the neo-fascist Herbert Kickl, is on the verge of becoming the Chancellor of Austria. The FPO is not a party like any other. It is steeped in anti-Semitism and racism, supported by far-right networks, and under Herbert Kickl, it has further intensified its radical agenda. Oh, we got the Elden Ring music playing again. Let's go. Let me make sure this is not too loud. Let me know if the music is too loud. Where's the article? There it is. In terms of in terms of personnel and ideology, its youth organization can hardly be distinguished from the neo-fascist Generation Identity group. And for those of you who don't know, there is basically a remarketed Nazi group in Europe known as Identiter, or the Identitarians, Europa Identitaire, or Generation Identitaire. And this is just a Nazi group of people, and I actually debated the leader of the Austrian branch back in 2017, and the guy was a Nazi. His name is Martin Sellner, and he's still around. He's still doing his activism work, but he was banned from YouTube. He was kicked out of YouTube, so he's no longer on YouTube. Although I think that if he returned back, he probably could be fine, as long as he doesn't explicitly praise Hitler or anything like that. But the guy is evil, and I debated him. And for a number of weeks I studied the identitarian movement in Germany and Austria. I studied those groups, and one thing I noticed is that they were really into German philosophers. They were really into not just German, but Nazi philosophers. People like who was the name of the guy who wrote the book Being in Time? Being in Time. Heidegger. Yeah, they were hardcore into Heidegger. They were hardcore into just reading Nazi literature. They were very much into Yukio Mishima. And Yukio Mishima was a Japanese nationalist who tried to do a revolution in Japan, post-World War II Japan. He wanted to overthrow the American-installed government there. And his revolution failed, and so he committed seppuku, and he committed suicide. But if you read the writings of Yukio Mishima, they are riddled with just sickness. It's all about emperor worship and bringing back emperor worship. And also, Yukio Mishima was a pederast who fantasized about cannibalizing American infants. Another thing about Mishima is that he has become an icon for the European New Right. That's what Mishima has become. So the fact is that they have made a pederast and someone who fantasized about cannibalism as their icon. And you could say, well, maybe they don't know about these things. But the funny thing is that I learned about Mishima's pederasty by literally reading identitarian literature. So they do know about this stuff. They don't care. They've made him into one of their mascots. So this is a sign of the sickness of the identitarian movement, and they will really, really expose themselves if you just read their literature. So they're very evil people, and the fact that the youth branch for Austria's Freedom Party it cannot be distinguished from the identitarian movement tells us that this is a Nazi movement, or at least a Nazistic movement. So it says here that its demands for an ethnically pure Austria, for the exclusion of all those who do not fit into the ultranationalist worldview, have long since been incorporated into the FBO's party program. It says here that on page 88 of its election manifesto, the FBO calls for a ban on the cruel death torture of ritual slaughter. So it looks like the Jews are not going to be able to do their kosher rituals. There are also no more references to a Judeo-Christian heritage. That's because they want to get rid of the Judeo part. The homeland is supposedly once again solely in Christian hands, and again, this is not true Christianity. This is a Eurocentric, nationalistic Christianity. During its last term in government, there were over 60 anti-Semitic and neo-Nazi incidents in the party's ranks. More than one every 2 weeks. Immediately before the September general election, several top FBO officials were filmed singing an anthem of the Waffen-SS at a... You see, this is why I don't like about conservatives. They'll say, the liberal media, the mainstream left-wing media, libtards, they call these people Nazis, but they call everyone Nazis. And I'm not saying that you should listen to the liberal media automatically, okay? I'm not saying you should automatically agree with the liberal media. But when you see clear examples like this, it's obvious these people are Nazis. I don't think it takes a genius to figure this stuff out. And believe me, I'm far from being a genius. Immediately before the September general election, several top FBO officials were filmed singing an anthem of the Waffen-SS at a funeral of a former party comrade. Together with the Austrian Union of Jewish Students, I brought charges against them to the public prosecutor's office. The latter has now launched an investigation against them for glorifying National Socialism. The FBO went on to win 29% of the vote. So the Austrians don't give a damn. They don't care. These Nazis sang a song by the Waffen-SS, and then they ended up getting the biggest share of the vote, 29%. What does that tell you? The Austrians don't give a damn. The Germans have stopped giving a damn about the taboos. The taboo of, hey, Nazism is bad. The taboo of, hey, what the Germans did in the past was bad. They don't care about that stuff anymore. They want to see a radical right-wing party win. That's what they want to see. And they are actively making sure to see to it that this happens because they want to see results. They're tired of the migrants. They're tired of refugees being in the whatever. They're tired of all that stuff. They're sick of it. And they know that an establishment party is not going to give them what they want. So they say, okay, we're just going to vote for the Nazis. Swedish behavioral scientist introduces eating human flesh at food conference. What? Could you please? I'll look this up right now. Hold on. I'll look it up in a little bit. Let me just finish this article. That is crazy, though. The FBO went on to win. Okay, we already read this part. The FBO's election manifesto is riddled with conspiracy narratives and the hatred of minorities, with its vision of a fortress Austria and its questioning of the European Convention on Human Rights. Right? They don't like those human rights. Get rid of that shit. Hey, if we're going to bring back the Reich, we got to get rid of this human rights, right? They want to bring in they want to bring back the Third Reich. So if you want to bring back the Third Reich, you got to get rid of human rights. You got to get rid of those. Get rid of all that shit. In fact, it's very interesting. There was a convention that was established before Hitler took power, and it was a convention on human rights. And Poland, I believe, became a signatory to that convention, if I'm not mistaken. And if I remember my history correctly, Hitler had a big issue with this Convention on Human Rights, and he wanted to remove it. He wanted to get rid of it. So that's another sign. That's another red flag. Another red flag is that they start going against conventions on human rights. They want to get rid of all that stuff because they want to violate people's rights is what they want to do. One more highlight to read. All of this is potentially made possible by the conservative Austrian People's Party after the Liberal Party, NEOS, left the negotiations the day before. The OVP, Austrian People's Party, in a shocking act of state political irresponsibility, ended the coalition talks with the center-left FBO and is now signaling its willingness to form a coalition with the FBO. Oh, that's interesting. So the People's Party was initially, let me just make sure I got this right. They were initially having talks about a coalition with the center-left SPO. So they were talking with the center-left SPO, and they were saying, hey, yeah, we can form a coalition, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, you know what? We don't want to have a coalition with you. We want to have a coalition with the Nazis. Why is that? Because they see the writing on the wall. The People's Party saw the writing on the wall. These people, the People's Party, they saw the writing on the wall, and they said, we're not going to work with the liberals because working with you is not a selling point. Because right now, the centrist, be they centrist conservatives or centrist liberals, they are seen as diseased. They are seen as lepers. So they're saying, well, we really don't want to work with you. You see, we want to work with the other guys. Because what's been happening over the years is sort of like what happens with a drug addict. You have drug addict and he wants something stronger. He wants something more radical. So to get that high that he got the first time he took drugs, he needs to find stronger drugs or he needs to find a bigger dosage. People are trying to find a bigger extremism to work with. So you guys are centrist? No, not interested. Centrist conservatives? No, not interested. Hardcore right-wingers, ultranationalists who sing the songs of the Waffen-SS? That's what we want. We want to work with you guys. And that's the world that we're entering right now. That's what's happening. You see how surreal this is, guys? It's terrifying to see what's happening. It's horrifying in a very surreal way to see what is happening in the world. And to show you guys, to further prove to you guys that these people are Nazis, I'm going to give you guys a quote. This is from an article that I wrote many years ago. Well, not many years ago, but I wrote this article, I want to say back in 2018, and it was about the Austrian nationalists and what they're about. And here's a quote from Andreas Molzer of the Freedom Party. And this is what he said. This is one of the leaders of this party. He said that he wants to revive the German Reich, stating, quote, "This world needs states or Staatlichkeit that have a sacred legitimation, which is the Reich." He wants to bring back the Reich. And I wrote here, and this is what, I'll give you guys some more words here from Mr. Molzer. He said, quote, Berlin, so he said that he wants to bring, quote, Berlin and Vienna back into the center of the new Europe. Molzer wants to include in this new pan-German empire the Baltic states, the Czech Republic, Slovenia, Croatia, and Poland. What is this? Does this remind you of anything? Reich bringing Vienna and Berlin back into the center of the new Europe? That sounds like, oh, I don't know, the Anschluss. Doesn't that sound like the Anschluss? The annexation of Austria by Germany, reunifying both countries to bring glory back to the Reich. Isn't that what that sounds like? They're Nazis. How clear does it have to be for you guys? They're Nazis. And the thing is that people don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. You know, for years I was warning people about Musk, and I was saying he's a eugenist, he's a transhumanist. People didn't give a damn. Because why? Because they were focused on my Twitter, my freedom of speech, damn it. And I'm like, okay, he's giving you the bait. See, here's the problem with a lot of people. The problem with a lot of people is that they focus on the bait, but they don't focus on the one who's holding the damn bait. You see, a lot of you guys are like fish. You don't know that you're wet. That's the problem. And so you have people who hold the bait. The bait is whatever you want. The salmon egg, the caviar, whatever they do for bait, the earthworm, whatever they use for bait. So the bait is dangling right in front of you. What's the bait in this case? The bait is free speech. I'm going to buy X, buy Twitter, make it into X, give you guys free speech, let you guys say whatever the hell it is that you want. And what did that lead to? Massive distribution of Holocaust denialism, Nazism, love for Hitler, Hitlerianism, all this weird shit. Musk didn't give a damn. He likes it because he loves the BJP. What do you expect from him? And Musk is using his platform now to openly and explicit. It's not like, oh, well, he just let everyone say what they want, right? Now, if he just allowed everyone to say what they want and didn't say what he really believes, then okay, maybe you'll have an argument. But that's not what's happening. What's been happening is, yes, he has allowed people to say more or less whatever the hell it is that they want, but he has shown his own partiality to that right-wing ideology, that far-right Nazistic ideology. He has shown his own partiality for this sort of radicalism and for this sort of zeitgeist that we are transitioning into. He has shown it. He has exposed it himself. Don't you guys see what I'm saying? And I was trying to tell you guys about this. And a lot of you guys listen, but a lot of people didn't give a damn. And what finally woke them up is when Musk said, Americans are kind of dumb. They're not as smart as Indians. Got a light bulb to click over people's heads. And then people realize, wow, this guy's a snake. You see what I mean? The problem with people is that they focus on the bait, but they don't focus on the fishermen. The problem with people is they focus on the bait, but they don't focus on the people who's holding the bait. And all I've been saying is focus on the one who's holding the bait. Because when you focus on the one who's holding the bait, then you understand why he's holding the bait. See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. So going back to this article here, let's go back real quick to this article here. So you have this party that's about to win big in Austria, and they want to bring glory. They want to revive the Reich. They want to make Berlin and Vienna. You see, and this is the goal. Because remember, Donald Trump, he wants to give more power to the Germans because Donald Trump is focused on Asia. So perhaps the plan is going to be let the Germans send their army into Ukraine after the war is over, and the Germans are going to have a sense of empowerment. They're going to say, well, we can't trust the Americans. They're going to say, we can't rely on the Americans nor the British, so we have to rely on ourselves. And the Germans are going to start to form their militarist bloc. Now, they've already started to form it when they integrated the Dutch military into the German military. You can read about this. So there has already been military integration between Germany and another European country. But Germany wants to make that bigger. Germany wants to widen that integration. Do you see what I mean? So that's the thing. So what's going to happen? These people are going to try to revive a new Europe. And that new Europe, if they succeed in establishing it, is simply going to be a return to the 1940s Europe, the 1930s Europe, and they want to make Vienna, the capital of Austria, and Berlin into the center of Europe, meaning Austria and Germany are going to run things. That sounds like the Anschluss. That sounds like the Third Reich. Doesn't that sound like the Third Reich to you? I am not optimistic about any of this bullshit. And oh, Jesus. Let's look at the comments. Let's check. I just thought of something. Let's look at Elon Musk's posts on the AFD on Twitter, and let's see how people respond to it. AFD, only hope. Can we find the original post by Elon? Yep, here it is, January 9th. All right, here we go. Elon Musk is the only hope for Germany. All right, so here it is. Let's see if people have opened up their eyes. Let's see if people have actually taken the time to look at what the AFD is about and what parties like the Freedom Party are about. So here's Elon. Oh, dang it. Let's make this window a little bit smaller. There we go. There we go. So here is Elon Musk's post. AFD is the only hope for Germany. All right. So let's see what are the comments? Okay, bullshit. So somebody said Christ is the only hope for us all, and the Lord sets up. Okay, all right. We got an observer in the house, everybody. We got an observer in the house. Christ is the only hope for all of us, and the Lord sets up and takes down leaders for his own purpose. Just as he uses Trump to MAGA, so to will he make Germany great again. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. I'll watch the end tomorrow. All right, see you later, Grace. I never mind. Sorry, guys. I spoke too soon. This is not an observer. We got ourselves a fish here. Thank you for your strong and clear endorsement of AFD. We need the political change. We needs the political change to spread across the world and needs to make sure we stick with it in the state. Oh, this is an American. Oh, God. The Americans, man, a lot of them are just hardcore pro this stuff. Hey, I'm not really sure, but what's AFD in Germany? I don't know why this guy's even writing, if you don't know what it is. The only hope for Germany was some American telling them there is no hope for any other way. Let the Germans be Germans. Let's be American. Okay. Alice had a fantastic chance today to convince us that her part is not a far-right Nazi. Her party is not a far-right Nazi-like party. I am sorry, Elon, and we love you, but she failed to convince many of us. She may be against immigration and certain other issues that align with conservative views. Hold on, do we have an observer? Is this somebody with a Oh my God! Please tell me we have an observer. Hold on. What did she say? But this is a very delicate time in history, and we shouldn't go from one extreme to the other. It looks like we got ourselves a thinker here. The fact that Alice tried to push the idea... Hold on. There's no way this woman's an American. She writes like a German. The fact that Alice tried to push the idea that Hitler was a socialist is where she lost me. Let's delete 80 years of written history and take Alice Feidel's word that Hitler was a socialist Marxist and had nothing to do with the right. Now that she has articulated this fact, all is good, and AFD is not a far-right party with elements of Nazism in it. And since Elon is telling us AFD is the only option, we shall all believe him. Actually, Alice almost had me until she shamelessly stated that Hitler was a communist. Then she started saying that solar and wind are not the answer, but of course Elon cut her off. She has changed her tune. Sorry, but I was born and raised in a communist country, and I can tell you that Hitler didn't kill the rich and the intellectuals. If anything, he appreciated them. This is true. This is true. Yeah, very true. So we have ourselves a thinker. We got ourselves a thinker. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, never mind. This is something else. Ich höre Deutschen. I'm German. Is that what this means? I am German? What does this mean? You Germans know the fascist. You've done this before. Don't bring Hitler. Oh, we got ourselves another thinker. You Germans know the fascists. You've done this before. Don't bring Hitler back to power. Whoever votes for the AFD is voting for Putin. Oh, come on. I don't know about that part. But yeah, they are definitely fascist. $42 people. Damn, this is pretty good, guys. So I want to show you guys there a quote to further evince what I'm trying to tell you guys. So here's a quote from one of the leaders of the AFD, which is the party that Musk is praising and advancing. So here's a quote from Bjorn Holke, and he says here, I'll read you guys this part. I mean, if this doesn't clearly show these people are Nazis, then I can't help you. So here's the quote. It says here, 2017, Bjorn Holke stated, "An emperor is sleeping in the cave of Kifhalzaburg, and when the need is greatest, he will awaken and restore glory to the Reich." So the AFD and the Freedom Party, they're allies. The Freedom Party says Vienna and Berlin must be the center of Europe. That means the Reich. That's the Third Reich. They want to bring that back. Then you got this Bjorn Holke guy, and he's saying, yeah, we're awaiting this savior figure, and he's going to bring glory to the Reich. So they're waiting for Hitler. They're waiting. See, the Iranians, they have their Mahdi. These people are waiting for their Mahdi. The Mahdi is the Führer. They are waiting for a Führer who will be their Messiah. See, we will bash the Muslim world, and we'll say, well, in Iran, they got this 12th Imam stuff, and that's true, right? It's sick stuff. I don't like it. But these people also have their little 12th Imamism. They got their little 12th Führerism going on.